There's a medrash in this parsha. Look at the last 4 lines. The Jews asked, what is Hashem's name? They said to Moshe Rabbeinu, what is Hashem's name? So Moshe Rabbeinu asked the Rebbeinu Shalom, what's your name? So the Eibush said, Eya She'eya. It's like one of the most problematic psukim in the Torah. What does that mean? He said, Eya Shlachani. So who is Eya? Amr Rabbi Yochanan. Eya la'asher eheya biyechidim. Avo b'merubim al korchem shaloi b'tevasim kshehem mishuboris sheneim oilachanei aleichem. Yechidim Eya She'eya. For the Klal Yisrael, I'll break their teeth. Shenem achai onenum Hashem im loy biyot chazaka u'v'zrei netuya u'v'chem b'shvucha emlech aleichem. That I'm gonna, just like I live, it'll be with a strong hand that I'll be king over you, and with achem b'shvucha. It almost sounds negative. This happens to be the positive. This is not the negative. This is the positive. Let's look at some of the Meforshim. Let's look at the Matnas Kahuna, the second column. Eya. Pirish. Yochid sheyachpetz v'yifcher bi. A single person that chooses me. Eya lelakim. Eya she'eya. If you pick me as a God, I'll be your God. Lo yachpetz. Biyodehu lifrik oil. If he doesn't want the yoke of heaven, he doesn't want to take God as a God, no problem. But the rabbim, I won't let them do it. That's why it says, if it was a yochid, if you want me, I want you. You don't want me, I don't want you. But to the rabbim, you should tell them, it doesn't matter if you want me or not. I'll break, the Eibishter will break their teeth. Talking about like
in cities? But by city?
Huh?
Rabbin.
The Rabbin means the Klal Yisrael.
Klal.
The Klal Yisrael, yeah. So, okay. Even though really we're talking over here, the pasuk that the Torah brings, the Medrash brings the story of Cheskel. He's not talking about when they came out of Mitzrayim, but the Chazal learned it that also when they went out of Mitzrayim, if it was Yechidim, single people that didn't want to leave, so it says b'shloisha simei afela, a lot of Jews that didn't want to leave, they died in the shloisha simei afela. So Yechidim could say, we're not interested. So Taka, they died b'shloisha simei afela. But the Rabbim, the Klal Yisrael, there's never, the Eibishter guarantees that the Klal Yisrael will be redeemed. But single people, if they don't want to go, they don't go. So the question is, how about when Mashiach comes? It'll be the same thing? Because this is talking in Yecheskel about the redemption that will be. That will be. How about the redemption of Mashiach? The Rebbe says, impossible. I mean, you're waiting for the Rebbe to say something, right? No. The Rebbe there's a tshuva where the Rebbe writes, a long tshuva, beautiful tshuva, all about Tchias and Mason. And one of there was a long thing from the Rebbe about, there's a lot of, it says this one is not Zeicher, the other one, every Yid is Zeicher for Tchias and Mason. Also a whole process, some are Zeicher to have their original body, some are not Zeicher to have their original body, but the whole long tshuva from the Rebbe, every Yid is Zeicher for Tchias and Mason. So you're expecting the Rebbe to say something, I mean, obviously. The Rebbe says, I'll bring you 4 ayahs, that this is not talking on the days of Mashiach. In the days of Mashiach, every Jew is going to be having a geula. Number 1, it says that it says v'shafta d'Hashem alekecha, the end of in the Tzavim, and it says in the pasuk v'shav Hashem alekecha. After the Yidden do tshuva, the Eibush is v'shav, and Rashi says oiches biyodev mamish ish to look to le'echad echad bnei Yisrael. The Eibush holds the hand of every Jew. When Mashiach comes, every Jew, the Eibush holds his hand. Every single Jew, Rashi says, and he brings it from a Chazal. So hence the song, no Jew will be left behind. The Alter Rebbe, second that is, the Alter Rebbe says, Bevada shekol echad echad b'Yisrael soifei lasas tshuva ki lo nidach mimenu nidach. Third proof, tzach beferish apostle. V'hoya bayoim hahu, v'hoya bayoim hahu, what will happen by Yoimahu Uvohu Oivdim Beyeretz Ashur Vanedochem Beyeretz Mitzrayim. Right? The Oivdim, the Yidden that were Oived Beyeretz Ashur, Chassidus, Meforshim. What does it mean? It means the Jews that were lost. They don't even know they're Jewish or whatever. They're lost. They're lost. They're lost. The Jews that are lost. Ashur and Eretz Mitzrayim. Jews that are lost. So they're lost. And every Jew comes back. And the Rebbe has this, another raya, the Rebbe has this wonderful pshat. In the Agodah of Pesach, we'd say to the Rosh that Ilu hoyasham lo yoyinigl. Had he been a Mitzrayim, he wouldn't have a Gula. So that's the way you're going to be Makar of someone. That's how you're going to tell that to the Rosh. If you go out to the street and you want to get someone film, and you say, "Excuse me, sir, you're Jewish, yeah, you want to put on film?" No. He's and then what do you think?
God's going to get you.
Yeah, you go like this, and then what do you think? He's going to roll up his sleeve? And if he is that the way? Is that the Rebbe says that we have to we say to the Ben Rosh, if he was there by Mitzrayim and he didn't want to be redeemed, he would die in the Shlosh Hashanah. But that's only Shem. But after Matan Torah, and now it's a new deal. It's a different deal. The new deal is that every single Jew, the Eibishter takes out in the Geula. There's no other way. So listen, better earlier than later, because the Rebbeinu Shalom will take you by a hand anyway. Okay, so I'll get it. Fisio. Finished. That's it. So the Eibishter says every single Jew is going to go out in the final redemption. Not like when it was a redemption of Mitzrayim, where the Jews that didn't want to go out didn't go out. The question is like this: what really changed? What changed? I mean, the Torah says that the Eibishter says, "Bonim atam l'Hashem alekechem." You're my children. They didn't become. A child can't become a more child. Is it your child or not your child? Is it your son? Is it your daughter? Or is it not your son or your daughter? Can't become more your son or more your daughter. If it's your daughter, it's your daughter. If it's not your daughter, it's not. Your son, it's your son. So what happened over here? What changed? There's a fascinating tshuva from the Rashba. The Rashba was asked, Meshumed la'avodah zora, im metamed ba'oyel im lav. A person that was, he converted to Christianity, Rahman al-Islam. And he lived that way his whole life. He was buried with the Goyim. The question is, a Goyish cemetery is not matama. Kohen can walk there. It's not matama ba'oil. It's matama b'maga b'masa, but not ba'oil. There's no tumas oil. How about this person? He asks. On the one hand, we say afar b'shachot Yisrael. On the other hand, we say that he's like a goy, and you don't return a lost object to him, and you're allowed to give him a loan beribis. And so Abazoi, how could he be matama? He's like a goy. Tshuva. Rashba answers. He says, yeah, he's like, the story is like this. You don't give him a loan unless you take interest. You don't give him back a lost object. Why? Because over there it's achva. The Torah says, ochicha, your brother. He's not acting like your brother. But Tuma is, what is he? Is he a cat? Is he a dog? Is he a goy or a yid? If he's a cat, he's not a dog. If he's a dog, he's not a cat. If he's a yid, he's not a goy. He's a goy. He's not a yid. His kiddushin, his get is a get. If he was makadosh a woman, just because he becomes a shmad now, you don't say, oh, now she's not an eishes ish anymore. His get is not a get. She's still an eishes ish because he's a Jew. And then he says, I'll bring you a raya. There's a Gemara, Berekama de Kiddushin. The Gemara says a machloikis. It says, Bonim atam l'Hashem alekechem. This is what the Eibishter says now to party, right? They should say party, B'ni b'chayri Yisrael, right? It says, Bonim atam l'Hashem alekechem. You're the children of the Eibishter. So the Gemara has over there a machloikis. The Gemara says like this. There's a machloikis of Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Meir. The Gemara sagt azoi. Tanya. Bonim atam l'Hashem alekechem, your children of the Eibishter. B'zman shetem noegim minag bonim, when you act like children. Atam kruim bonim, shein atam noegim minag bonim, if you don't act like children to Hashem, atam kruim bonim, you're not considered children. Div Rabbi Yehuda, these are the words of Rabbi Yehuda. Either way, you're called a band to the Eibishter. Shenemer, as it says, bonim kesilim heima, they're foolish children, but they're children. V'oimer, also it says, bonim lo eimim bon, they're children without amuna. V'oimer, it says another passage, zere mereim bonim mashchisim, that they're children that are mashchisim, they're bad children. V'oimer, v'hoi b'makam Hashem olam, lo yamiyatam, yom olam, b'ni kel choy. 4 psukim he brings. So the Gemara says, my v'oimer, why do you need to bring 4 psukim? You bring 1 pasuk. Why does Rabbi Meir have to bring 4 psukim? So the Gemara says, V'oimer, chiteim sichli udemikri, boni. If they're foolish children, they do avedas. But if they have no amuna, then they're not children anymore. Just, no. That's why it says bonim lo yemem bon. V'chiteim, if they have no amuna, they're still children. But if they serve avodah zarah, then forget about it. A 3rd pasuk, zera mereim bonim mashchisim. Mashchosim means avodah zarah. They're still children, even if they do avodah zarah. They'll say, okay, they're children, but they're bad children. No. A 4th pasuk. V'makam asher yomer lehem lo yam yatam yomer lehem b'ni kel choy. That don't say they're lo yamim. B'ni kel choy. B'ni kel choy means that they're lebenika children. They're good children. So even though usually the halacha is like Rabbi Yehuda, he says here, because the Gemara doesn't spend time explaining the opinion which is not the halacha. It brings both opinions, so you have the record straight. When the Gemara is busy, and also when the Gemara brings a lot of psukim, so the Gemara here is paskening like a Meir. So the halacha is like a Meir, and then he says maybe even Rabbi Yehuda would agree, but the bottom line is he's a Jew. As a Jew is a Jew is a Jew, and gendikt. Okay. So fragt sich the Shaila, Yois, the Jews are bonim atam lashem elakechem. Jews are children. So what difference does it make? The whole nation or part of the nation? What difference does it make before Matan Torah, after Matan Torah? Why would you say it's different? That before Matan Torah, and why? Why would you say before Matan Torah? And what's the difference? If an individual says, "I'm not interested," then God says, "Okay, you're not interested in me. I'm not interested in you." It doesn't happen that way with a child. What if a child tells you, "I'm not interested in you"? Defies you in every possible way. So what? You say to the child, "You're not my child anymore." You kick him out of your house. That's not the way to do. So that's the way the Eibishter is showing us an example. That's the way he deals with us. But that's not anyway. The halacha is like Rabbi Meir. He says bonim atam.
A child cannot be not a child, and a father cannot be not a father.
What does I? So what's the difference before Matan Torah, after Matan Torah, and what's the difference merubim b'yechidim? So why is it that before Matan Torah we say that if yechidim eya she'eya, you want, I want. You don't want, I don't want. Merubim, no, eya shlachani. And after Matan Torah we say even the individual. And before Matan Torah Gufa is a funny interest as a shaila. The worst people got out. The worst of the worst. A guy was schlepping pesel micha. He was going out. He was carrying an avodah zarah with him.
Oh my gosh.
And he made trouble afterwards. They had trouble and trouble. We had trouble from this guy till today. This guy was schlepping micha, was schlepping a pesel. Everyone can come out. The people that said, we don't want to go, they can't come. Why? Why? This could be all the Baalei Aveda could go. All the Rishayim could go. All the people that are serving Avodah Zarah can go. Guy is schlepping pesel micha, he could go. The guy says, I don't want to go. You don't want to go. Don't go. Eya she'eya. You want to go? Go. Don't want to go? Don't go. What kind of hug is that? What's going on?
It's a hara.
It's a hara? So the Rebbe's beard is azoi. There is, about Yom Kippur, there is this thing that Rebbe says, at the Yom Kippur, it doesn't matter if you do tshuva or not. That was the Rebbe's beautiful shitta. Tzuma shel Yom HaChaper. Also tshuva, loicha, also tshuva, aberes kavul, kalas, chamuras, everything. You did tshuva, you didn't do tshuva, easy, doesn't matter what. Clean slate. Every Yom Kippur, absolute clean slate. 100% clean slate. One exception. What's the one exception? When he desecrates Yom Kippur itself. Why? 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 So Zokter Rogachover, he says it in fancy lumdas, but in simple words, Enka Teger Nasa Saneger. The prosecutor cannot be also defending you. If he's a prosecutor, he's a prosecutor. If he's there's two different types of people. There's prosecutors, miserable prosecutors, and there's good people who like to defend other human beings. They're the same person. It's hard to find the same person. Either he's a good person or he's a miserable prosecutor. Depends. But ain't you taking Nasa Sanega? Which you this one or you that one? Yom Kippur, the whole inyan of Yom Kippur is to wipe away the sin. Now he's desecrating Yom Kippur. It doesn't work. The same thing is in Chassidus. Chassidus explains it in the words of Chassidus that on Yom Kippur, the essence of the neshama is revealed, and that melts away all the sins, because the essence of the neshama is revealed, and it heals all the ailments from the whole year. But this guy is not allowing the essence of his neshama to be revealed because he's desecrating Yom Kippur. So the same thing here, you could say when the Yidden went out of Mitzrayim, Pesel Micha, he's schlepping a pesel, nasty people, Dosam Vavidim, Koirech V'chalad Dosai, Edev Rav, they're all going out, no problem. Who you want to go, go. Everyone wants to go, go. But a guy says, the Eibishter wants to take us out of Egypt. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. So the Eibishter says, Eya She'eya. Ain't gonna take a Nasa Sanegit. If the Eibishter says, I'm going to take you out, he says, I don't want to go. So the Eibishter says, you don't want to go, you're not going to go. So what changed now? The Geula Mitzvah Vashlema. Why is it when Mashiach comes is different? Here we touch on a nerve, something which is a very, very important thing up Chassidus, and the truth is a very, very, very edel. It's like to get touched this nakuda. But what really happened by Matan Torah? What was so special about Matan Torah? Okay, Jews became Hashem's slaves. Okay, Avodeihem. But besides that, we say Bono Bacharta Mekolam Valoshen, and the Shulchan Aruch says, now the Rebbe brings it from the Shulchan Aruch, that you have to have in mind when you say every morning Bono Bacharta Mekolam Valoshen, that the Eibishter picked us by Matan Torah. How could he pick us by Matan Torah? Avram was a tzaddik, Yitzchak was a tzaddik, Yaakov was a tzaddik, Yidden were Mitzrayim for 210 years. Now he picked us. What do you mean? We have no credit? What do you mean he picked us? How do you pick us? What do you mean he picked us?
Goof.
What do you mean he picked us? We suffered, we slugged it out for 210 years. Avram had that essence, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Yud Beishvatim. He picked us. What do you mean he picked us? We deserved it. So the Alter Rebbe answers in Tanya that Neshama, there's nothing to pick. There's nothing to pick. You can't pick. $100 or $1. I pick $100. I pick $100. If you have an ounce of seichel, you take the $100, not the $1. But that's not called picking. Picking means when two things are equal. Heads or tail, you don't know, so you flip a coin. Flip a coin? The Jews or the Egyptians? Let's flip a coin, we'll see. Maybe the Jews, maybe the Egyptians. That's Bechir. The Eibishter picked, now the Yidden. The Alter Rebbe answers, it's talking about the goof. The Kedusha of the Jewish Neshama was always there. But the goof, the Eibishter picks. Chassidus says, what do you mean the goof? It means that the Eibishter, by human being, it's very hard to pick. There's something that's dragging you a little to this way, because this is better for me. This type of employment is better for me, this type of job, this type of vacation, this type of car, this wallpaper, this car, this house, this neighborhood, this is better for me. So it's not a choice. It's seichel. I figured out which is better for me. But mitzad the Eibishter, everything is equal. And the Eibishter, the emes inyan of bechira chosh, as the Alter Rebbe says, and also the Rambam brings the Mar in the Vuchem, the ultimate bechira chosh is only by a Jew and by Shem. Otherwise, what do you mean? Things are not usually equal. No two things are the same. So you figure it out which is better for you. For the Eibishter, everything is equal. And by a Jew also there's this thing. Everything is equal. Therefore there's bechira. To the Eibishter, everything is equal. And he picks the Jew. So according to this, the Rebbe says, it's counterintuitive. But this is the Rebbe's chidush of the Sikha. That you might think that what's the deepest relationship of love that could be? A father and a son, a mother and a daughter, parents and children. Parents and children. It's not true, says the Rebbe. Not true. Not true, because the Rebbe says even a child can understand this. Why do parents love their children? Because that's the teva. That's their nature. That's their nature. We see that if a person has a very strong desire, they could break their nature. they can, the essence of a person, the koyach of a person is that even if my nature is I like to eat not one piece of kugel Shabbos, a dozen pieces of kugel. Huh?
Happens often.
Yeah, sure. But I have bechira, and I pick not to eat 12 pieces, only 6 pieces of kugel. So a person, you see that there is something stronger than a person's teva. The person has a bechira to break his teva. That's stronger than his teva. Because that's what, as we said before, that the Eibishter is like Ein Misha Ya'akav Al Yodoi. The Rambam writes. There's nothing can hold him back. So stronger than teva. It's teva's kilu. This is. It's like pulling me. This is my nature. So naturally, I love my children. But that still the essence of me comes out more when I make a choice, a true bechira. A true bechira, in a sense, is more me than my love to my children is not the essence of me, because I have no choice about it. I can't not love my children, because that's my nature. So therefore, the essence of me is not revealed in here. The essence of me is revealed when I pick something and I make my choice. So true is bonim atam lashem alekeichem till matan Torah. Yidden were called Hashem's children, which is mitzad the neshama. Chelak alakamim al mamash. They're called children. But at Matan Torah there was a deeper mila. There was a deeper mila. The deeper mila is that now there's the bechira, and that's revealed in the guf of Yid. So therefore, Zakter Rebbe, when they were in Egypt, a child could say to his father, "I'm not interested in you. I'm not interested." A child can sever relationship with a father. It's not a usual thing, but it can happen. But that's what happened to Mitzrayim. So it can't be Merubim, it can't be the Old Klal Yisrael. It's impossible. But Yechidim, it's possible that a Yochid will do that. And he say he doesn't want to have, because the relationship of a son and a father is awesome, and the love is very deep, and blood is thicker than water, but still, there is a certain, it's the Teva, and it's Shaykh that a Yochid should say he's not interested. So the Burs Baal Aveda went out. But if he said he wasn't interested in having a relationship with God, the Eibusha says, Eya she'eya. I'm not going to force him. But when you're going out of Mitzrayim, that was before Matan Torah. Now the Geula, the final Geula, which comes after Matan Torah, which is the Koyach of Bechida, of choice, the Bechida that the Eibishter makes in Yidden and Yidden make in the Eibishter, that's stronger than the Teva. That's stronger. Bono v'charta mikol am v'loshen is stronger. That's why on Rosh Hashanah, all in Chassidus, all about the whole big deal of Rosh Hashanah is about Bechira. The kapitel Tehillim that we say is, we say kapitel Mem Zayin. It's a special kapitel for me this year, because I'm saying this kapitel this year. Just started saying this kapitel this year. Kapitel Mem Zayin. It's a great kapitel to have, because you almost know it by heart from Rosh Hashanah. And you say, Yivcher lonu es nachlaseinu es geoin Yaakov asher ohev selo. That Rosh Hashanah is associated with Bechira, not with father and son. It's associated with the relationship that we have as Avdei Hashem, which is in a sense deeper. Chassidus says that there is a relationship as a Jew has with God as a father and son. And over there, it's not such a avodas Hashem, because it's natural that the father loves the son, the son loves his father. But dafke and avdus, which is a chidush that comes in Matan Torah, that expresses the idea of bechira. So therefore, on Rosh Hashanah is more connected to the union of bechira and the union of avdus, which is these two things are connected. It's a deeper avodah, even though it's counterintuitive. You think, what could be a deeper relationship than father and son? When the Yidden serve the Eibishter as avodim, a servant, it comes from the Bechira. That's in the Inda. That's why in Rosh Hashanah we say Yivcher lonu es nachlaseinu. Bechira is Geoin Yaakov, because Yisrael is the Ben, Yaakov is the Eved, and over there the Ava is more intense, is much stronger. Therefore, when Mashiach will come, no Jew will be left behind. That's the bottom line. Because in the time they went out of Egypt, the relationship was father and son. And sometimes a kid could say, no, not interested. But this thing that a Yid has Bechira and the Eibishter, and the Eibishter's Bechira and the Yid is the essence of a Jew. And it's impossible. It could be that you don't see it in the Chitzonius, but you have to dig deep and you'll find it Bepnimius. But it's not possible that it's not there. It's not a teva. You could say a person could train himself. You could train a dog not to be like a dog. You could train a cat not to be. You could train a human being to act like a cat or a dog. People, the little children, they say, their studies, they grew up among wolves or dogs. They act like a shaykh, such a thing. Shaykh, such a thing. But bechiras ha'atzmus, that cannot be broken. Maybe you don't see it in the outside, so you have to dig deep, and you find it in the inside. You find it. There is one of the two brothers today with the Vishnitzer Rebbe's. Reb Mendele, there was a story that he told once years ago. He told it in Bnei Barak. It's an unbelievable story. It has to do with a little bit of the parshas that we're just finishing. We're just finishing Vayomas Yosef, V'cholecha, V'cholador. So he said that there was a person who was sort of, from his upbringing, there were Vishnitz. He was living in South America. He was a wealthy businessman. Rahman al-Islam, he was sick. He was getting treatment for a couple of weeks. He was in the hospital. In the meantime, Rahman al-Islam, he became very interested in one of the nurses that were taking care of him. He was going to be discharged from the hospital, say on a Monday, and he already agreed with this shiksa that that's it. He's going to move in with her, and he's starting a new life with her. Ois Vishnitz, versteht sich.
Ois Yidden.
Always a business.
So it was Friday. He gets a call. Picks up the phone. It was Rabbi Klein. Rabbi Klein said that the Lubavitcher Rebbe gives a brocha. He asked for a brocha. Lubavitcher said, "Shabbat refuah shlema. Should pack your bags and go home right before Shabbos." Right away. So he was like stunned. But it was like he was told, so he like wasn't even thinking. He just packed his bag and walked out of the hospital. Took a taxi. Came home. He went home. When he was home Shabbos, he was like, "What happened? I never called. Who called for me? The Rebbe asked. I never asked a bracha Lubavitcher Rebbe." In the meantime, he had charota from the whole thing with the shiksa and everything. It was.
But Rabbi Grona told it a different version.
But I heard. Okay, so I
hold
I'm just telling you the way I heard it from the Mendele. So he said that the Yosef HaTzadik, it was the most Yoikna Shalaviv Nirale Becholam.
Yeah.
And by the Yosef HaTzadik, when he was with the wife of Potiphar, what saved him was that he saw the image of his father Becholam. And by this Chosid, it was this is what Mendele says. A vision that said that the Yoikna of the Lubavitcher Rebbe Nirale Betelephone.
Wow.
I mean, WhatsApp was already there.
The most Yoikna Nirale Betelephone.
Steinmetz plays all the Chabad events and stuff.
There's one of the stories about the Baal Shem Tov. We're talking already about Loi Nidach and the Nidach. One of the beautiful stories that told about the Baal Shem Tov. That the Baal Shem Tov once told his Talmidim that they have to go somewhere to daven Mincha. They can't go here. They have to go somewhere in a Siyah. They went with a Psakvitzes Haderech, and they ended up someplace where they didn't even know where they were, and they came out of the Agola, and they davened Mincha with Hakavona Atzuma. And they finished davening Mincha. The Baal Shem Tov goes, and he digs like a little hole in the ground, and he had a bottle of mashka, and he takes some mashka and he pours it into the ground, and he takes a little mashka and he pours it into his cup.
Amen.
He says l'chaim, and l'chaim l'vracha, and that was it. And then they're going back to Measure Bush. The way back, Hashem said that he has a story to tell them. There was once a Jewish couple. The gentlemen, they were both very regal people, intelligent people. And they were running a business, and the husband became friends with a galach who was a customer. And the galach invites him to come to his house, and they talk. The galach tried very hard to end up that this Yid should come to visit him for a weekend or something. He said, come. Kosher, don't worry. I have for you a special. I have a maidservant. She'll take care of it. She'll cook for you. Cook. In the meantime, the galach made sure that a little tarfus should go into the pots. That Yid should eat a little bit of tarfus. When a Yid eats a little bit of treif, it's timtum amoyach v'alev. The galach didn't even know how brilliant his thoughts are. So since he ate already a little treif, so now with the timtum amoyer v'alev, things started to Rachmana litzlan fester in him, and Rachmana litzlan, that was it. He converted, and not only that, he married a shiksa, and he had a totally new life now. He was a wealthy man. His new life was even better than his previous life. It was good. He's walking with his wife, and he's in his properties, and he had a guard, and there was a booth. The guard is in the booth. The guard is crying. So he stops. He asks the guard, "What are you crying?" He doesn't want to. But he begs the guard to tell him why he's crying. Well, maybe he can help him. So he says he's really Jewish, but Rachmana litzlan, that the circumstances are he's a Marano, he's a hidden Jew, and today's Yom Kippur, and he's here sitting here, he's working, and he would love to escape, but he can't afford it. He has no money, he has no nothing, and he's stuck here, and it's Yom Kippur. And this man listens to this and sees how he's crying. And he was Jewish himself.
Got him.
So that got him. So he started talking to this guard. They had many discussions, many hours. Besoifa, he decided that he wants to do tshuva, but where he was, that place that he lived, apparently he couldn't become Jewish again. That wasn't an option. So he ran away. He got the $4. He ran away. He escaped. That was it. So now it doesn't return home. The wife wants to know where's her husband. He goes to the guard. Listen, see, my husband's was hanging out with you. Where's my husband? So he told her the truth. He said he was really Jewish and he converted. And she couldn't believe it. The guy would leave everything behind, do tshuva. She started reading about Judaism. She was talking to the guard, and the guard was telling her all about. She decided she's selling everything. She's also becoming Jewish. Antlaufen. And the guard thinks to himself, I made 2 bala tshuva, and I'm a guy stuck here in a little booth. He said, you know what? I don't need any money. What do I need? I'll just walk. I'll walk out of this country. I'll walk till I get somewhere in Europe to a country where a Jew could be a Jew, and I'll live like a Jew. The thing is, he was not a young man, and it wasn't easy to walk, and he walked, and he fell in a forest, and he died. And that's where he is. So when he came to heaven, some said, listen, this guy is Makar of 2 Jews, he made 2 Baal Tshuvas. He was Machshava Tova Kadosh Baruch Hu Mitzar for the Maisa. The other said he never lived one day like a Jew. Never lived one day like a Jew. So when we came here, said the Baal Shem Tov, and we davened mincha with a kavona, then this neshama was able to enter the Gan Eden. So therefore, I made a little hole, and I made l'chaim with the nifter. You know, it's a happy occasion. He was able to go into Gan Eden. So I figured I'll share some l'chaim with him. So lo yidach mimeno nidach. This is the big thing from the Alter Rebbe, and we see in the Rebbe even more that you see the chidush here, Dover. You would think that the relationship of a father and a son could be bigger. But that's pre-Matan Torah is Machadash Rebbe. After Matan Torah is the Bechira. And the Bechira between Hashem and Yidden that's revealed in the Guf is awesome. And it's impossible. That's unbreakable. It's unbreakable. It's just possible that sometimes you don't see it on the surface of a Yid's life. But there's 100% that if you dig deep, you'll find it in every single Jew. And every single Jew could dig into himself, and every Jew can help another Yid to find it in himself. So the Eibusher should help Taka, that we should find it in ourselves, and we should find it in the Klal Yisrael, and we should be Soif Kol Echav Yisrael, Lasas Tshuva, and Miyadei Negolim.